Hey, what's up guys, Nucky Chulo here with Production Music Live, and today we have a tutorial showing you how to create a deep horn lead using massive and stock Ableton plugins. This sound, along with this template, is available at productionmusiclive.com, so if you like what you hear, feel free to go check out their website and grab the template for yourself. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Here's a quick example of the sound we'll be creating today. We'll go ahead and open a new instance of Massive. We'll select a square saw, have it all the way over to the saw position, decrease the pitch of the oscillator to -12. Let's get oscillator 2 involved. Or we can play with poly saw. Just gives it a different tone and has a little bit more meat to it. Wavetable position all the way to the saw, and bring the amp up a little bit. We'll send both of these to filter 1. We'll change it from spectrum to a band plus. Bring down the pitch to -12. We're going to select a bandpass filter, and then we're going to set the cutoff and bandwidth to around 2 o'clock. We're going to turn the resonance up slightly. Then we'll turn the volume up for filter 1, and we'll send it all the way to mix 1. We're going to add a LFO to our cutoff. And we have the ratio 2:1, the X fade all the way to the sine. We'll increase the voices to 4 with 16 max, and have the pitch cut off a little bit to the right, not too much. This will create a detune effect to our sound, and adjust the pan position slightly. Next, we're going to add a teletube. Increase the dry wet a little bit, increase the drive slightly. And let's go ahead and add a reverb. Increase the dry wet, increase the size, and then we're going to increase the color as well. EQ a little bit, bring down the high end. We're going to boost frequencies around here. Not too much. Boost the low shelf a little bit. Now let's go ahead and make a few minor adjustments to our 4th envelope. This is our amplifier envelope by default. Increase the level slightly. Increase the decay time slightly. And we'll bring down the master volume just a little bit. Next thing we're going to do is add some modulation to our sound. So let's add a ring mod to oscillator 1. We'll put it at about 11 o'clock and bring the pitch down to about -24. Let's give it a listen. And we can even add an LFO to this as well, create some movement. Next, let's add some phase to oscillator 2. Bring it up about 11 o'clock. Make a few adjustments here. Cool, so that's all the processing we're going to do inside of Massive. We're going to process this sound further using Ableton plugins within Ableton. So first thing we're going to do is drop a dynamic tube within an audio effect rack. I'll play around with the tone to about -0.4. And then I'll adjust the bias. Decrease the envelope. The thing about the envelope, you got to be careful with where your bias is set. So let me go ahead and show you what I mean. If I increase the bias to 56% and then flip the envelope to the positive side, it gets a little choppy. So let's go ahead and adjust that back. We're going to go ahead and increase the drive. Okay, cool. So the next thing we're going to do is apply an EQ8 to remove some frequencies we don't want in the mix. I'm going to have a high pass filter and a low pass filter times 4 and bring that low pass filter over to about 1.5 hertz and the high pass filter to around 70. Open up a little bit more on the high end. We create a little dip here. We go ahead and enable audition mode. That way I can mix in context. And we'll create a low pass times 4 and then open it back up just a little bit. Awesome, so the next thing we're going to do is add a glue compressor. We have a fast attack set all the way to the left. Let's go ahead and adjust the threshold. Everything else can stay the same. A and B real quick. And we'll put that inside our rack. Next, we're going to add a little bit more reverb to it just to beef up the sound a little bit. We're going to have a low cut. I'm bringing down the pre-delay and the decay time. We'll set the quality on high. Turn the chorus off. Have a low diffusion set. And I'll crank down on the dry wet to about 30. Bring the size back up. So next thing I want to show you guys is how you can use the multiband dynamics to solo out different frequencies and have a little bit more control of them. So we'll go ahead and put that multiband dynamics within our audio effect rack, and then we'll open up our chains tab. And chain number 1 is going to be our low chain, where we're soloing out the low frequencies. So let's open up a little bit more on the low end with our EQ. And then we're going to drop a compressor in here, but we'll turn it off for now. Let's set where our lows are. We'll bring it around 200 hertz. And then we can compress this. Turn the makeup off. Bring down the attack. Leave the ratio where it's at, and then we'll increase the release a little bit. A and B, and then we'll bring the volume back up. Cool, so let's go ahead and duplicate this. And then we'll rename the next chain our mid chain. And then we'll solo that chain. So let's solo the mids. And then we'll adjust compression. A and B real quick. decrease the ratio. And then we'll have the volume back where it's at. So now you can control both the lows and the mids of the sound and actually play around with how much you want of each band. So let's listen in context. Well guys, that pretty much wraps things up for this video. Thank you guys for watching and please stay tuned for more videos.